You notice the pattern in small moments. You say yes to plans, then cancel at the last minute. You lean into someone, then quietly step back. You crave conversation, and then find excuses to be alone. On the surface, it looks like disinterest, but emotionally, it often means safety first. Why does closeness feel riskier than solitude? Your mind isn't malfunctioning. It's following a safety rule it learned long ago. Psychologists sometimes call patterns like this the safety paradox. The safety paradox is simple and strange. It says, proximity can be a threat, and distance can be protection. You learn to prefer being safe over being seen. The safety paradox appears when warmth and uncertainty sit at the same table. This is not moral. It is procedural. It is a strategy your mind rehearses because it works in the short term. The safety paradox explains the tug-of-war you feel between wanting someone and guarding yourself. The loop looks like this. You approach, you feel closeness, an alarm rises inside you, you withdraw, you feel relief. Relief reinforces withdrawal. The brain logs the pattern. Approach, alarm, withdrawal, relief. Each step is a tiny lesson. Approach teaches possibility. Alarm signals past danger. Withdrawal produces calm. Relief becomes a reward. Your brain prefers the path that reduces pain fastest. That is how the loop makes itself sticky. Where did this rule form? Often in childhood, when emotions in your first attachments were unpredictable, the safest response became distance. When comfort arrived only sometimes, your system learned to expect loss. So it built a rule: avoid the edge that cuts. Early caregivers teach us by rhythm, not lecture. If comfort came inconsistently, you learned to predict disappointment. If closeness sometimes meant overwhelm, you learned to keep a buffer. Attachment theories trace these patterns back to early routines. Even John Bowlby learned that our first bonds sculpt how we seek and avoid. But here's the strange part. The very system that shields you from hurt quietly creates the condition it fears. By withdrawing to feel safe, you also shrink your chances to be known. You traded immediate safety for long-term solitude. Your protection strategy became the generator of the problem it tried to solve. This is where the paradox thickens. You wanted connection, and you moved toward safety instead. You wanted the warmth of another person, and you preserved the warmth of your own quiet. Across life stages, the pattern wears different clothes. In your 20s, it looks like almost relationships. You start, you stop, you study the danger of intimacy more than the joy. In your 30s, it often becomes an emotional ceiling. You date better, but love less. You cap how far anyone can get. Later, it can show as a preference for control. You build a life that is reliable and small, and it feels easier to manage than the risk of being vulnerable. Each stage confirms the rule. The brain rewards predictability. So the pattern adapts with your life, but it keeps the same logic. What does this behavior do inside you? Think of it as a quiet harbor. When the seas get rough, you draw your boat into a sheltered cove. The harbor is small, but it keeps the hull undamaged. Withdrawals become an anchor. Solitude becomes a regulated room where you can breathe without surprise. That room feels safe. It smells like habit. It feels less frightening than a wide open sea of emotion. The pattern is not cruel. It is a calm thermostat that keeps you from overheating. Identity grows around that thermostat, and you start to say, I am independent. I like my space. You wear those statements like a badge. They are true and incomplete. Identity comforts you because it narrativizes protection. If you are someone who prefers alone time, the world stops asking the harder questions about fear and trust. Identity translates a coping strategy into a character trait. It simplifies the messy thing your nervous system is doing into an adjective. And once it becomes part of who you are, the loop tightens. People treat your identity as stable. You treat your strategy as inevitable. The paradox deepens. The very self you claim as autonomy is often the shelter your younger nervous system built. There is another subtle truth. Your nervous system is not aiming to punish or to punish yourself. It is optimizing for survival in the context it remembers. It misapplies ancient rules to modern relationships because those rules worked once. They still feel necessary even when the danger has changed. This is why recognition matters more than correction. When you see the loop, you stop being surprised by it. When you name the safety paradox, you stop feeling like a defective machine. Recognition does not fix everything, but it converts confusion into information. You did not choose to become guarded. You learned to be useful to yourself in conditions that seemed perilous. You learned a rule that reduced immediate pain. The choice to withdraw once made sense. There is tenderness in that. You were protecting a vulnerable part of yourself. You became practiced at keeping that part safe. In the end, the paradox is also a message. It tells you what your brain values most: certainty, predictability, low surprise. It also tells you what you hunger for: connection, closeness, being seen. Those two things can exist together, even if your nervous system treats them as enemies. You did not learn to avoid love. You learned to avoid unpredictability. You were protecting yourself with the only rules you had. Knowing that changes the tone of the story you tell about yourself. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a person who found a way to stay alive inside relationships. That is the psychology of feeling safer alone than in love. It is messy, human, and quietly rational. And once you see the loop, it stops feeling like fate and becomes only one more pattern the mind can show you.